Okay, Sharon Bovat, explaining why Nissan outed me, part 8. Okay, so the Renault spy scandal. That was when Carlos Ghosn, the Nissan CEO, said that they found 3 men at Renault were spies. They were doing espionage. They were taking their technology, first it was technology, and then it was their financial plan for the electric car. They accused 3 men at Renault for being spies. It was called the Renault spy scandal. Google it. You'll actually, if you do an image search, you'll see my picture. Because they were accused, I believe, in January 3rd. I was told, I was in D.C., I was talking to a prominent whistleblower person. Can't say who it was. And I was also at the RNC debate at the National Press Club. And it was interesting because the same time they accused the men of being spies, I was told by a top lobbyist who came sat with me that the electric car could never be a success unless gasoline were over $5 a gallon, and that was the plan. They wanted to keep the gas high. People in the Middle East were funding the electric car because they were going to let it be a success to a point, and then they didn't want it to be a success. But it was going to keep gas prices high because if people were buying it, we needed to have high-priced gas to have the electric car. Is that crazy? And so basically, some people call it Qatar, some people call it gutter, they were funding electric car projects because they were going to let it go to a certain point. And actually, it turns out they did something similar with the CIA and people connected to the CIA, connected to Carlos Ghosn. See, they knew Carlos Ghosn had bad tech. So people wanted the Nissan to have the first mass-produced electric car because they knew it wouldn't be a success because they knew that the technology was crap. Dominic Thorman even talked to me. Dominic Thorman wanted product planning Nissan. They replaced him with a European. But he was a decent dude. I was actually at the airport and he got on his cell and he made, I think, a fake call. And he was talking about how it was his last day and he was leaving, and he predicted the company wasn't going to be doing too well. And I think I blogged about that. But so Carlos Ghosn in January 2011 accused 3 men of being spies. Now, he said he had proof and that there was financial documents from a bank like in Switzerland or Luxembourg or something like that. And somebody connected to Mike Doris, an FBI agent I used to date. Mike Doris I met him at the Defense Language, I met him at a wedding for Blair Gammon. The Gammons were family friends. They were Air Force, Colonel Gammon, Jim Jr., Blair, and I. Just a great family, and Mary. I love those people. I haven't seen him since I whistle blew. My uncle Bill Frisbee, who was chief pilot of the Pan Am, he helped Blair. He was kicked out of, I believe, the Air Force Academy because I think the Clintons blacklisted him, and it was really upsetting to people because, kids didn't deserve that. And but then my uncle got him a job with Francis Ford Coppola, and Francis Ford Coppola he was connected to the mafia, and they actually did some good movies about the mafia. If you ever heard the movie about the Godfather, yeah, that was Francis Ford Coppola, and he makes a good wine. Anyways, so I met Mike at the wedding of Blair, and Blair was marrying some really nice girl. I forget her name, Laura. She's really sweet, and it was one of these fancy weddings, and it was nice. So I met Mike, and he was learning Mandarin, and for the FBI. I mean, he was going to do he was a really decent dude, and he was going to fight like the Chinese mafia or whatever. And so then I met him, and then we dated. He was busy, and I was doing my bit. He really didn't know what I was doing, and I don't even know if he knew who I was. But he knew who I was. He knew what family I came from. And he was. Oh, never mind. Okay, so anyways, And I mean, he had to have known the Monterey Peninsula Country Club that the Gammons belonged to and my family belonged to was the Super Spook Country Club, right? Liam Panetta was a member, but Panetta was a member. He was more active after he became like CIA dude and secretary of of Defense. My grandfather introduced me to Panetta when he was just a congressman. His mom was at the Ave Maria nursing home the same time as my grandmother. And my papa, my grandfather, Panetta was there, and Panetta and him had this strange nod code type thing happening because they were in the same club. Well, see, Panetta used to work for Kissinger's people, Nixon's people. So Panetta was actually like a big Republican. He's a big hawk, and everybody knows he's a hawk. I mean, my God, even Rumsfeld's people didn't really like his surge thing. So in Afghanistan. Okay, but anyways, I'm off topic. So the point of this is the Renault spy scandal. How did I get off topic? Oh, because of Mike Doris. So Mike Doris, and I met him through Blair. That's how I got off in Panetta. So Mike Doris's people told me that the false information hadn't been created yet. Well, Mike Doris actually left the FBI. He was put in the 9/11 Commission report that the towers might not have fallen if the CIA didn't lie to him, because evidently Mike was really well known in like Islamabad and like Pakistan and all this weird stuff. See, after we dated, I mean, this is a long story short. He was Chinese, but then he switched and he started monitoring the tall guy, and the tall guy was like Bin Laden. And which is really strange, but it was funny because Mike had, we talked, and I met people, so it probably wasn't Mike, but somebody had said something to me about the old FBI director, and I was in Dallas in the 90s. I was like in Dallas in 93, and it was like a reorg of the new people that were taking over the the Republican Party, because Haley Barbour won the internal battle of control, and I really didn't like that because I knew Haley Barbour was a racist because I worked for Henry Barbour at the RNC convention, and I told President Ford that. President Ford had tacos with me backstage, and I was tapped on my shoulder at the floor at the RNC convention, and I was told I was going to have lunch with the former president, and I didn't know who. I was like, I don't know what to ask. And then as we were walking backstage, we were backstage, and they had all the trailers and stuff, and there was like a commissary area. I was told I could talk to him about anything but the Kennedy thing. It's weird. Yeah. He had really big hands, President Ford. He was really kind. And we were eating tacos, and the taco shell kept crunching and falling apart, and I felt bad for him because he kept trying to stuff his stuff back in the taco shell. And I had probably a great opportunity to get information from President Ford, but I was nervous, and he gave me advice about life, and he said always be a team player, and he always gave football analogies. He was so cute. I heard this man talking to me, and he's like, always know who's following the ball. Follow the ball. Know who's following the ball. And so I'm hoping to God that good people are running America now, because I'm trusting and I'm talking about this stuff because I feel like I'm not going to be hurt, because I think people have wanted to hurt me in the past because of things that I knew. And somebody that knew President Ford came up to me